Hello everybody, AnYT here, and welcome back to the Stanley Parable. A rather eerie and creepy walking simulator. So, what are we going to do today, narrator?
All his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Okay, can I say my intro? Okay, anyway, like always, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and to share the video for friends. And let's start. So, I was thinking to do...
Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfectly fine with him. Stanley touched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
So today we're going to try and escape, but with a bucket. Yeah, no. By the way, a large room with lots of boxes, somewhere both red and blue, nearby a fireplace, a private basement place for an important person. Oh yeah. Is it warm? Yeah, maybe. No. But probably no.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
A fireplace, so around here.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him, always. The bucket would. And he knew it. The two of them were inseparable.
Yeah, no.
At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
2845.
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
Yeah. Whoa, shit off.
All along, was the
Yeah.
guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Yeah, the bucket told me. There we go.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands?
Mini-stands?
What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that.
No.
Another Stanlerine under your belt.
No, I don't really like it, but okay. Let's go then.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket.
Yeah, thank you,
Soothing
bucket.
him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
I hope so. I truly do.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Yes, I'm going to go there. I am. Truly.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Oh
What
my
horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Never mind, cannot read it. I mean, you guys already know, so let's just quickly skip ahead.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content.
Oh no.
Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
Or a bucket.
For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world.
Off.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes!
Yes. Finally.
The bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away.
There we go.
Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and...
What? What?
What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped?
I don't know.
Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
No.
An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to
it's
leave.
my bucket, the property of Stanley.
Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming
No.
needed the soothing warmth of the bucket. Would go to any lengths not to part.
No.
Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley.
It is pretty bad.
As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
And this is how it ends. Alright.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Okay, now I was thinking to do... Yeah, the other one was the water bucket.
A strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction.
Okay, yeah, thank you, narrator. I still haven't done that with only Stanley, but probably I will do it in the next episode. So we're going to turn on, but with the bucket, the mind control facility.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
So see you then. Yeah,
Part of the
okay.
operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
Yeah.
The cold reality of his past began to sink in. Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power.
On.
But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and
No,
pressed the button to
bucket.
turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself?
Bad
Could the bucket have
bucket.
betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen.
Cerebords.
Silly birds. The control
Seagulls.
became active again.
Penguins.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was
so
a facility
cute.
for monitoring
Little
and
doggy.
surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true
Ooh, owls.
Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the
Parrots.
genius in
So
his hands,
beautiful, so
the one who
majestic.
had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Oh, I'm happy. Alright, now I'm really going to do
All
it.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Sorry, Bucket. Not today, or at least not for now. Let's finally go to the escape. I just want to escape, you know? And then obviously we go there with a bucket. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Maybe the ink changes. I don't know.
Walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind
Escape.
Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Oh, finally sweet death. The sweet
The door
shit.
behind
The
him
sweet
was
release.
shut. Stanley
Death.
still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
No, I don't want to die.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward
Yep.
and willingly confront his death.
Exactly. So let me go die.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger
Oh
picture. He
no.
doesn't know the real story, trapped
Oh, fuck
forever in his
you.
narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man.
Fuck you,
He
narrator.
resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator.
Female narrator.
Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
It's a female narrator. Gender swap. The Stanley Parable.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
There we go, the
When
museum.
every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same.
Office
Do you see
layout.
now? Do you see that Stanley was
Corridor.
already dead from the moment he hit start?
Ooh, philosophy. Philosophical. The two doors. Fallen cabinets. My desk, probably. The office. Bottle sounds. Cool sounds. Office clock. Boss's office. Cool. Freedom ending. Countdown disk. Oh, okay. Monitor room elevator. Oh. Well, it is a nice little museum, yeah. A small museum, I don't know where to go exactly though. Would the game feature capybaras? Important. Very important. We need capybaras. Okay. Maintenance layout. Trailer, so cool. Okay. Oh, there we go. The exit.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another?
Yes.
No, perhaps
No,
not.
I can't. Okay.
Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
Oh, don't say that.
But listen to me. You can still save these two. You
Oh.
can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice.
Fine.
Whatever you do.
Let's see with my bucket
All of his
if
co-workers
it changes anything. So
Stanley
see you
decided
there.
to
Okay, obviously guys, if I notice that it's the same, I mean, not really bothering what will happen next.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Mind control facility, see? Correct.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Come on, bucket, let's go.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
To our thieves! Well, no talking.
As the machine whirred into motion
okay.
and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be.
Cool.
To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Film in the riddle?
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
Oh no.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket.
Oh whoa.
It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious
Where's my
to
bucket?
behold.
The bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. Oh my god.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Inferno bucket. Distress bucket. So many buckets. The bucket in history. Cave drawing.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
Oh. The hanging bucket. I'm coming for you! Oh. thought I was gonna die.
There is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader.
Hell no. I'm going to live. Alright, well.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries?
Probably.
The bucket made Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Alright. Guess there's not much else to say. We saw some new endings, that's for sure. Anyways, like always, I don't know what else to do, so please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and to share to all for friends. And bye bye!